Hello, everyone, and welcome to From a Test to a Testimony. I'm Michelle Drew, and this is a space for real conversations with real people about the moments that changed everything, the seasons that tested them, the turning points they never expected, and the meaning they discovered on the other side of their challenges. These stories aren't about perfection or having it all figured out. They're about resilience, growth, and what happens when life takes an unexpected turn. So I'm so glad you're here. Let's begin. Today's guest, I'm excited to talk with today, Stephanie Shaw. And her story begins with a health crisis that came without warning. While traveling for a business conference, Stephanie was suddenly overwhelmed by frightening physical symptoms that sent her to two emergency rooms within hours and marked the beginning of a long, painful season. For the next 2 years, she lived with chronic pain, migraines, vision issues, anxiety, heart palpitations, and heavy bleeding. She saw doctor after doctor, underwent extensive testing, and followed every recommendation, yet no one talked to her about hormones, nutrition, and menopause. I love this woman. I can't wait to hear her full story. So she was left without answers and feeling completely dismissed. That season became her turning point through prayer, persistence, and learning to advocate for herself. Stephanie began to understand what her body truly needed. Healing came gradually through lifestyle changes, nutritional support, faith, and the support of a community that walked with her instead of minimizing her experience. So today, Stephanie uses her journey as a testimony. She is the host of Hello Hot Flash. I love that name, right? And Christian Women and Menopause. And she is the creator of The Change, a faith centered community helping women to reclaim their health and hope in midlife. So, Stephanie, welcome. This
Thank
is going
you.
to be amazing.
It will be. I'm going to have fun. We're going to have fun.
We are going to have fun. Absolutely. So, bring us back to that moment on the business trip that you just started to have all of this coming down on you.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I have a date, which I often say, God works everything in mysterious ways. You say test the testimony, and through the whole journey, I was paying into purpose.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to go with all these numbers and dates because God was using it for marketing tools.
He's always got a plan.
He's always got a plan down to the date. So I do know the date. So it was actually March 23rd, 2017. And I was on a business trip and I don't party, don't drink anything. But hey, I was in Louisiana. I'm like, let's go to Bourbon Street. I have no idea why. But I will tell you, I physically stepped onto Bourbon Street, just like a step over. And it was just like it had to have been a spirit that greeted me there. My body started twitching. I got numbness in my jaw. I did a couple of things on the way back to the hotel because we had walked. It was only like 3 miles, so we walked. We
Mm.
walked back to the hotel. I was with a coworker, and by the time I got back to the hotel, I just laid down on a couch in the lobby, just shaking. And so Sarah didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So I ended up, as you said, in two different ERs that night. The first ER was like those small emergency rooms, and they're like, no, something's really going on. They sent me to the second ER, and I had a CAT scan, I had an MRI. I don't know if those are the same. Maybe I had both or the other. I think it was
Wow.
definitely one or the other, trying to determine if I was having a stroke or if something else was going on in my body. So that was the beginning of this journey. When I look back, it had really started a lot earlier, probably about 2 years earlier. Things that I hadn't noticed, rapid heartbeat from walking up the stairs, twitching in my eyes, and so forth. But this is when it all escalated. And it was a very, very scary process. In the matter of less than 2 years, I ended up at 18 different doctors, some of them multiple. So, ophthalmologists, gynecologists. I went to two different physical therapists, acupuncturists, you just name it, I was going there. Again, some of them multiple times. And we had had some personal things going on, so we didn't have health insurance at that time, so
Mhm.
I spent over $20,000 out of pocket. I
Oh,
stopped counting. I'm like, I just need a marketing number. So I refuse to count
oh,
anymore because I don't even want to know. But
right.
all of these things were going on. And in the middle of all of them, as you said, I leaned into the word of God to figure out what was my purpose, why was all this happening to me, and what did I need to do next.
Yeah. And the fact that you say no health insurance, I'll bet the audience just went,
I know, right?
wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
it is.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
One test
And
was like $2,500 back in
wow.
17, and MRI, I think, was 25 to $2,700. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Wow. And one thing, when you said it, I was like, it's scary enough when you're at home,
Mhm.
but to be in a strange city with your work people, not
Yeah.
even family or whatever, that had to be frightening.
It was very frightening. So the young woman that I was with, she was on my team, and she was actually my oldest son's age. And so they started my she called him first because I said, well, my husband and my son have the same name. So she got the wrong Ruben off my phone, but it's all good.
It worked out.
He was able to communicate with everyone. He was an adult. So she was communicating with them. It was really good because she had that type of medical background. So it
Oh,
kind of worked out. Again, God's always
of
doing what he
course.
needs to do.
Right.
It worked out so she could communicate clearly with them. She wasn't in a state of shock or fear or being anxious about the situation. And that
Right.
helped calm everyone's nerves. But you're exactly right. If you're in that situation, you want your family there with you. You don't want to be
Sure.
a stranger, even if you know the stranger.
Right, right. So then you got home. You didn't stay for the whole
No,
trip? No, you got
yeah,
home.
yeah, that next day when I just could not function, I went to the conference and then just canceled, told them we couldn't come back, flew home immediately. And that was a horrible, horrible flight
Oh,
because again, I didn't know what was going on. Should I be on an airplane?
right.
So forth. So got back home, and that just kicked off this journey that felt like it never ended. Again, the
Mm,
twitching in the eyes, rapid heartbeat. There was a 2 month period between 27 and 2019 where I couldn't drive because I had frozen shoulder where I couldn't move my head left or right. Yeah, it was a very, very scary time. A couple incidences included me like driving on Route 80. So if anyone knows like the Ohio, New York Turnpike area of Route 80, I was on 80, had to pull to the side, to the left, not to the right. You're supposed to pull to the right. And I just froze. I could not go any further. I was having an anxiety attack. And I am not that person. I'd never had one like that before. Actually, that was only the second one I had ever had. My husband had to come get me, pull me out of the car, put me on the other side, and then leave his car there and then drive me off the turnpike. So because during that time frame I couldn't figure out what was going on, why the eye was twitching, why my heart was beating so fast, because every test result came back as normal, the normal exactly, that's where the anxiety built up. So it
oh,
became
sure.
like this layered effect. Like I couldn't get rid of one thing because I was anxious about not getting, I didn't want a diagnosis, but
Right.
kind of you think, oh, well, maybe that would
Yeah.
help and we could move forward. So yeah, it just kept building on itself. And I spent a lot of time in the word. And I also recognized how I had become a doer of the word instead of like actually reading the Bible versus studying the Bible is what I call
Right.
it. So
Right.
at the church 3 to 4 days per week, volunteering, doing whatever I need to do. At one point, I had a key and the code to get in the church because I was so active. And during that period of time when I was forced to sit, I started to clearly understand how I had not been doing what God was calling me to do, which is to be
Mm,
in relationship with Him. So
mm,
even though I will say, my hair was falling out, which it did, and all that stuff that happened, when I look back, as often happens, it's
yeah.
probably it is the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
it changed my relationship with my husband. It changed my relationship with Christ. It changed my relationship with myself as well.
Yeah.
So I often tell people when you're like in it and you just don't know what your next step is, if you keep
Mm.
your eyes looking up,
Yep.
focused on the word of God, focused on
Yep.
what he can do for you and how he can get you to the end of this journey, then just take the rest of it with stride,
Yeah.
and he'll help you walk through that path.
Yes. And I love that you said that. I mean, life doesn't happen to us.
Right. Nope.
At the end of the day, it happens for us,
Mhm.
right? I had a near death, I almost died. And I look back now and I'm like, what a blessing. What a blessing, right? But when we're in it, it's hard to see that.
Very, very hard to see that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
As I said, I look at it as my pain into my purpose. And the
right.
reason for that is probably like 10 years prior, so early 2000, maybe 2007 or 8. I'm like, Lord, I really don't want to work for anyone else. I want to be an entrepreneur and I need to do something in food. Like I really wanted to do, I wanted to open a vegan restaurant, but thank goodness that didn't happen.
Right.
I want to write cookbooks. I don't know. I had a food blog for a hot second there. I'm like, I need to do something in food and nutrition. And here, what got me to the other side, of course, besides the Lord, is the way that I changed the way that I ate. So I went back, got 2 certifications in nutrition, and I was able to use what I thought I would do or what
Mm.
I wanted to do. This helped me get to exactly where I'd been asking the Lord to go. And he knew I wasn't going to quit my very cushy job. He knew that, there would always had been an excuse for why I wouldn't go back and get the certifications. I'm busy. I need to do this. I got kids to take care of.
Yep.
Sometimes when he wants you to be somewhere, you can go the easy way or you can go the hard way. I chose the hard way.
Yes, that's right. It's like you can come along or you can fight me a little bit and I'm going to win in the end, right?
And thank
Yeah.
you, Lord, for because He knows best.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So now because obviously you weren't told that it was lifestyle changes that you needed to make. And I mean, that whole normal thing, don't even get me going. I heard a doctor actually say one time, there's normal and there's common. So your test results were common, yes.
Right.
Most people have these test results. I do that with the blood work. Most people have this, so that's common, but it's not normal. It's not the way the body was designed to be, so that means it's not normal.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a
yeah,
really good way of thinking of it too, because so many people get stuck in the quote unquote normal.
yeah. Doctor says I'm normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Whatever that
I'm
means.
normal. My test results are normal.
Yeah, they never say I'm normal. So during this time, someone that I'm very, very close with, her son had gone through a couple of things and she had gone through a couple of things herself. And they'd found a natural path in Oklahoma. So I'm in Ohio, he's in Oklahoma, but he's a Christian. He's a naturopath and a chiropractor. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to go this route. I already have my doctors kind of thing. And I'm not no offense, but I'm not a huge like quote unquote doctor fan where I'm running to the doctor all the time. But I'm really thinking I
Yeah,
have cancer or something serious. So I'm like, yeah, I need to not play around with stuff.
right.
So, but I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go to him. And he gave me one urine test, and that completely changed every single thing. His questions, I'm like, oh, he's asking me every question. I keep telling everyone and they keep telling me
Oh, it
that
doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter, you're okay. He asked me all the right questions. He did one urine test and then he gave me supplements to take and told me how I should start eating differently. I was already a vegetarian, but I really wasn't eating my macronutrients the way that I should. So he helped me start to eat better, understand what that really looked like. And then again, added supplements because my body was so depleted. I
Yes.
needed those. So yeah, I did find my person, and that gave me more confidence or to know that more people needed people
Mm,
like that to have those conversations with them. And that's why I really love what I do, because sometimes I'll assume that people kind of know, and you'll be completely surprised that people don't
they
realize
don't.
how food really impacts every food and sleep.
Yeah.
Every single
Yes.
thing is impacted by that. So
Yes.
by working with him and again going back to school, I'm like, yeah, I have to do this. I have to help other women get to the other side.
Yeah. And not only don't most people know, like I do the same thing. I'm like, take it for granted. It's like, of course they know this.
Right,
That
right.
no, that not only do they not know, they're being told the contrary by
Mhm.
their health professional and they believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, no, what you put in your body is everything.
It's
Everything.
part of what I learned is that medical schools will pay. I don't know if it's the medical school or if it's the physician, so I don't want to quote that incorrectly, but there are lobbyists who
Mhm.
make sure that they do not have to have a ton of hours in nutrition. So they're
Right.
not even educated in nutrition at
Right.
all. My
Right.
stepdad has he has a nutritionist that he's gone to who told him it's okay to eat fruit on the bottom cup, yogurt, take some fruit, take some yogurt, put those together. It's not okay to eat that because it's laden with sugar. It's
It's not okay to eat that.
two weeks ago, my mom called and she's like, we call him Poppy. Poppy was at the doctor, and what did the lady tell her? Oh, if you're in the afternoon and your sugar drops, just grab a quick candy bar. I'm like, what
Oh,
is her name? What is her name?
I'm going after her.
I know, right? So it may just be my experience and just maybe the two people that he's run into. But from me going to all of those different doctors, and again, no disrespect whatsoever. You
No,
need your medical professional. If you have cancer, if you're having a heart attack, even if you have diabetes or anything else, you do need a medical
yeah,
practitioner. But in addition to,
you
you
need
need
it.
to listen to your own gut and recognize that food is really impacting what you do and how you move. All those 18 doctors, not one person mentioned menopause. Remember, I said a gynecologist too. And not one person mentioned the food that I was eating. And
Yeah.
Dr. Robbins, as soon as he mentioned food, I'm like, oh, and I had to start eating better because I already knew, but he really honed in on exactly what, not just eating better, but what my body needs. Because
Right. Because
sometimes
it's
you don't think so.
different.
It is so different. So for
Different.
me, I can't eat tropical fruit or I'll have a hot flash. And of course, I can't eat like cabbage. Like, but you kind of know, but you don't know, or you're maybe not tracking it. When I was going through the process, I started tracking the food that I ate, and even good food. Some of it
Yeah.
is not good for Stephanie. So
Right.
everyone,
Right.
what I may be able to tolerate, Michelle may not be able to tolerate. So I
Right.
think that's really, really important when people are learning what they eat. It's not only about the food that you're eating, it's also making sure that your gut is being protected and taken care of. And that is up to you, your makeup,
Yes.
how your gut likes to be nourished.
Yes. Yes. And like, to address your, like kind of standing up for the doctors and saying nothing against them, they're part of a broken system.
That's true.
They're
Right.
part of the system is broken. They're not allowed to do a lot of things. However, they don't get nutritional education in
Right.
college. What I've heard from several doctors is 1 hour.
1 hour. And so gynecologists, the same thing. They don't get menopause training. I did not know that until I started doing all the interviews. I'm like, they get maybe a week, and I think they can quiz out. How do you quiz
Wow.
out a third of a woman's life? Like,
Right.
you can't quiz out the obstetrics part.
Right. Right.
Right?
Just because something's coming. I don't know. Something's coming, whether you're prepared for it or not.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. It's part of a broken system. Part of what the work that I do is I also talk to women about being able to advocate for themselves,
Oh,
and
I
being
love
able
that.
to advocate for yourself really gets you that. So even though I like joke around about the 18 doctors, over half of them I like knew personally, and I still see them around the community and so forth. So they're friends. They're really good people.
People. Yeah.
But part of me being able to in some cases even get to that level of friendship was I went in with a list of questions. I asked pertinent questions. I didn't come in, and I don't want to say complaining because that, that I don't know how that will go over with maybe people are listening, but I didn't come in with concerns that weren't legitimate concerns. I didn't say, oh, my head hurts a little bit. Like, hey, on Monday after I eat blah, 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 I have a headache. Like I provided the details. And I was often amazed that the doctor that was kind of had their back to you walking towards the door would turn around and sit down and talk to you. So you're right. The system is broken. It's telling them they need to get in and get
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
they're very smart people. So if you're engaging in a conversation with them, then it kind of makes them turn around and like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you about that.
Right.
So coming in prepared, I think, is a
I think.
huge makes a huge difference in your
Yeah.
outcomes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I often so I take my parents to the doctors now, probably about 95% of the time. And I'll go in with my mom, and a half hour later we're coming out. I'm like, I think to myself, sorry, you guys should have been prepared too. Because she spends
Stephanie's here.
I'm here
Yeah.
because she spends quality time with us because again, I've tracked what my mom's doing. We were having a conversation in the details. So I just think that's really important. I always like to throw that out.
So important. It's critical. Yeah, because if you're not going to advocate for yourself, who is?
Exactly.
Who is?
Exactly.
They've got 15 minutes with you on a good day.
On a good day.
Good day. Yeah. Yeah. So you're back, you're getting your information on your nutrition and what's going in your body and your naturopath. Take us through the other side and how everything kind of fell together and how you started to feel amazing and all how all that felt.
Yeah. So it was August around, probably started in May, but around August of 2019, I closed the nonprofit that I was running. And I knew that this, if I didn't take this shot right now to
Ooh.
to become an entrepreneur, I just knew it was going to pass me by.
Wow.
So I closed the nonprofit, and that became the second leg of this journey. I had gone through the process of I didn't need as many supplements anymore because I knew how to eat. I was
Hmm.
eating better. I was feeding my body
And you
better. I
balanced everything out.
balanced everything out.
Good. Yeah.
And part of the over the hump part, and when I don't mention Christ, it's not that I'm leaving him out because there's just practical things. So
Right.
part of the
Yeah.
over the hump for me was stress. So that frozen shoulder, that neck pain. I also had sciatic pain. Well, there was a person who was a pain in my neck, and there was a person that was a pain in my sciatic. And by journaling, I discovered who those people were. Like, I'm like, oh, every time, my neck pain gets worse, or every time I'm around this person and we have this type of conversation, my sciatic hurts more. So once I took care of those situations, it's like that's when that went into that second wave. I kind of got over the hump and I could see clearly, okay, I thought this pain was for purpose. Now I know this pain was about purpose. So by that time, I'd already got my certifications and so forth. So I went out there, got me a little website. And then,
Yes.
and then I started coaching. And I was fortunate enough, some of my very first clients were people in my community who saw they saw the woman who had to sit in the back of the church with sunglasses on because the strobe lights would hurt her eyes. Or they saw the
Yeah.
woman who was being dropped off at the door because she couldn't drive and she's in her 40s. Like they saw all of that to me becoming vibrant and happy. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What did you do differently? I'm like, oh, let me tell you, and I can help you too, kind of thing. So that's how it transitioned into it. And again, I just had some really great community people who trusted me enough to help support them.
I love that. That is so great. So great. And I love that you closed a nonprofit. It's
Yeah.
not like you left a job. You closed a nonprofit. That was a big decision.
It was so as part of so I went into the nonprofit 10 years prior. I'm like, when we need to be working ourselves out of a job. That's the type of nonprofit it was. So
Sure.
my role there was we collected data and encouraged the school district to collect data as well on what the kids are doing. They're failing. Why? Like
Mm.
collect the data. So I went to DC. I was able to speak on Capitol Hill. Like I and around the different states within our country, a huge team of advocates came together. And in all
Wow.
honesty, the state of Ohio did a really good job at finally requiring some of that work to go. Now we could have stayed around longer and we could have done more work, but it was kind of a time for that shift too. Like the school districts were now taking ownership of what they needed to do. So that to me was also a gift. It wasn't like I was leaving
Yeah.
employees high and dry. It wasn't like I was leaving students high and dry. It was a time. It was time for that shift.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Oh, that's I love stories like that, that it's like, hey, the door was open, I went through, and now super successful, doing wonderful things for women going through exactly what you went through. And my mentor always tells me it's like your best clients are you 5 years ago.
Yes, that is
Isn't
so
that true?
true. It is
Isn't that
so
true?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes. I was on a sales call last week and I'm thinking, while she's talking, I'm like, man, that was the thinking about what you just said. I'm like, man, I was there. Oh, yeah, that resonates a lot. Oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And
Yes.
who better to help you? Like the book
Right.
knowledge is wonderful and you need that. You need the book knowledge, but also
Yep.
you need some of that empathy. You need for someone to be like,
Right.
hey, I
Been
able
there.
to drive for 2 months and I'm feeling
Yeah.
anxious. Like, how does that work? What did you do? And
Yes.
what I love is I've always, God has just sent me. I don't think I think maybe one of my clients have not been a Christian. And so it was never on purpose.
Mm,
But what I've done now is make it on purpose. So I'm
nice.
creating an environment where we're looking at science and faith because I'm
Mm,
completely convinced you cannot get through this season without the Lord. Like
I
you
agree.
need to understand what his word says about your health, your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, your relationships, your job. And it's so incredible. The more you look at the Bible, I'm like, oh, wait, the menstrual cycle is in there a lot. And you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like all of these female quote unquote problems or concerns, I'm completely convinced that the woman with the issue of blood was
Yes.
perimenopausal. She had
Right.
endometriosis.
Right. Exactly.
She just wasn't
Exactly.
diagnosed. I'm like, there is no way. And I see myself in her because what she spent all she had, and she had this
Yeah.
issue of like, I see myself in her so much. I'm like, Lord, she was menopausal, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, for
so
sure.
so people sometimes you read the Bible and you know the Daniels and the Josephs and so forth, but there's the Deborahs there, and there's the Ruths, and there's the
Mm,
woman with the issue of blood, and then there, you
yeah.
know, there's just so much in the Bible meant to
Yeah.
support us. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking the science, macronutrients, and then I'm taking the Jesus, Holy Spirit.
Yes, put it all together. That's amazing. I love that. And our pastor actually did a 5 or 6 series teaching on food.
Are you serious? That's
Yes,
awesome.
yes. I
That
mean,
is,
and like, talking like 6 weeks in a row,
yes.
talking about food and nourishing the body and bringing it back to the Bible and how this is our temple. We have to care for it in a certain way. And that means not eating ultra processed food and not eating fast food and all the things that has been put on top of us
Yeah.
that, it's not going to hurt you. It's fine. Go to
Yeah.
the drive through. It's fine. No, it's not.
It's Michelle, I'm so happy you just said that. That is so powerful because I often say to people, and someone said it to me the other day, I'm like, that's my quote, uh, that you can't do the work that God gave you in a body that is sick. So
It's
this
true.
is your responsibility
It
to
is.
not eat sugar. It's not condemnation. It is your responsibility because you need to be at full speed. Like the world is quickly changing. The entire world is quickly changing. And I see us as Christians, and I would say, especially Christians in the United States of America, needing to be more bold about what we're saying, being more bold about how we confess Christ and how we
Mhm.
disciple and speak up. And you
Yeah.
can't do that sick. I mean, yeah, maybe
No.
lay in your hospital bed, a couple nurses that come by, but who wants to do that sick?
Right.
So
Right.
nutrition, making sure you're getting your sleep, making sure you're
Yeah.
drinking your water, all of that is really important. And I believe it's Christ-like.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you 1,000%. 1,000%. So, any last last thoughts that you'd like to share? I'm going to put all of your links in the show notes so that anybody can hop on. And I love the name of one of your, Hello Hot Flash. When I that was one of the first things I said to you. It's like, oh my God, I love that. So yes, I'm going to put all those links so that people can find you. Any last words of wisdom?
Yeah. I just think it's important to love yourself enough to know when something is just not right and to trust yourself, even
Trust.
more important. Trust yourself enough to know when something isn't right. If the test results are coming back fine, and you know there's something else that's going on, keep digging. If you have to go 18 doctors deep,
Mm-hmm.
keep
Do it.
digging until you find out what is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thoughts on the word fine. Oh, everything's fine. That's a four-letter word that starts with F. Just saying.
Just saying. I love that. I
When you
love
said that, I'm like, I've got to just add that
that.
on.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. This has been such a joy. I knew that this was going to be great from the moment I met you just last week, right? And I knew it was going to be great, and we're going to have so much fun. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all that you're doing for women in our, well, I'm a lot older than you, but in our age demographic.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll just say goodbye to our listeners today. So I want to thank the listeners for being part of this conversation. If this story spoke to you, please subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who might need it. Guys, share this with your wife. She'll love you for it. New episodes of From a Test to a Testimony drop every twice a month on the 11th and the 22nd, so double digits. That's easy to remember. And I'm so grateful that you're here, and we'll see you next time.